Here we go. This is our second interview of what we call the Tell It Like It Was interviews. Augusta, tell it like it was.
If I'd have known this, I wouldn't have slept last night.
Anyway, this is Virginia Nadler in front of the camera here, or the iPhone, and I'm Paul Oviatt. This is David Kloss. He'll be asking questions too. He'll be jumping in there, and then filming you today is Paul Campen. Paul lives on Lower Street, right there next to Bud Short. Dave lives on Lower Street too, where
Mrs. Nienhuser used to live.
live. I used to own, I still don't own it actually, where Regina Hop and it was, and Erna Hefferkamp, that house. That's where I live. But anyway, this isn't about me. I was going to ask you, and feel free to say, not answer if you want. What year were you born?
1926.
1926. Okay.
It was way before you.
You got that right. You got that right. And where were you born?
In Augusta.
Right in town?
Well, I don't know how to explain it. On Slewisburg Road, right up on top of the hill there.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
I live up
The
that way.
house, I think, burned down. Did you know Otis Collins?
I met him.
He lived there already.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I believe Junior Lee, I don't know.
J.R.
lived
Leisman
there.
lived up on there too for a while. Yeah.
Who did?
Junior did live up there
I
for a
believe
while.
he did.
He did, yeah. I remember that. Are we talking the same house that Junior
I
was
think
in?
it's the same house,
Okay.
but I think that house did burn down, and they built a different one there.
And that's where your family lived when you were born?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
See, my mom and dad got married, and then Olga Paul, did you know Harvey Paul?
Yeah.
His Olga's mother was my dad's sister, and so she kind of took him under her wing because his parents both were gone. So my dad was the youngest of 16, and so he was kind of left as an orphan. But then one of the twin sisters took him in.
Okay.
And that's how he got to Augusta. And then he met my mom, and then that's where they got married, and my uncle and aunt, they built that house for them up there on the hill.
Oh.
Oh.
And so you've lived in Augusta all your life except for living here at
That's
Cedar
right.
Crest. That's where we're at today, Cedar Crest in Washington. Okay. Now, are you first generation in living here? Or your parents? Did your parents come from Germany, or your grandparents, or?
Well, my grandparents, my dad really came from New Melly. That's where his folks lived.
Okay.
Okay.
And my mom's were really around Defiance and Matson.
Oh, and what was
The
it?
Tipkers.
Tipker. Okay.
Mhm.
Sure, I've heard of Tipkers.
How far is this gonna go?
We can't go back any farther.
Well, you know, Virginia, did you mean in time, or did you mean how far is this production? I mean, you mean who's going to see this? Is that what you meant, or did you mean how far back in time are we going? Oh, well.
I don't know.
Okay. I'm not sure that anything I say makes sense anyway, so. Did you guys have any question about her relatives or family?
Did your whole family stay up there on top of Slewisburg Road?
Pretty much until my dad bought the Camp Hefner place, you know, that where the big house was. Pretty close to, well, right on 94.
Yeah.
The big red barn was on one side and the big house on the other side. 2 houses there.
There were 2, and one burnt down a while back.
That was the house place that my dad bought.
Okay,
Huh?
in 47 about, I believe.
right. It's right there on Highway 94.
Right.
Right. Mm-hmm.
That's the first place he ever owned.
Okay. Well, when you lived up on Shrewsbury Hill, though, were you able to farm up there, or was it too?
Well,
woody
he
and rocky?
farmed down in Augusta Bottoms.
Oh, okay.
Hmm
Did he own
There,
it?
there was some ground up there that he could roll the rocks around.
Yeah.
And on the hills, it was steep fields, you know.
Yeah.
And there was, I believe, a black community up there, up on that hill too. Like Elmer Kemp lived up there, for instance.
Yeah, Ursula Lamb and Albert Kemp,
I didn't know. I
they were
only-
neighbors to us, really.
Yeah, I just knew Elmer
Mhm.
and his wife. Yeah. Okay. Well, okay. Maybe we'll just jump ahead slightly. You mentioned that land in the bottom, and now I know your brother Leonard farmed down in that
He
neighborhood.
farmed down there too, because the town of Augusta owned some of that ground, didn't they?
They still do.
I didn't pay that much attention to that, what he was doing, you know, but I know that
Oh.
it was really across the track from him where he lived, where Leonard lived, you know.
Okay. What about where Leland lived there on Church Street? Did he farm around him there?
Well, no, it really was just pasture ground, you know.
Did he have?
It had hay on there.
Oh, okay. Did he have cattle or anything? No.
He didn't really
He
farm
didn't
there.
farm. What did he do?
Because he drove the school bus.
Oh, okay.
He drove the school bus for Borgia over here for 35 years.
Okay.
Between him and Elaine, his daughter.
I knew she drove a bus. Yeah.
Hmm
She's talking about Elaine. Well, now her name is Rutherford. Elaine Rutherford, and she lives on Highway
She's a
90
beautician.
94. Yeah. That's right. Okay. Well, did you say that there were 16 kids? Or did I misunderstand
Yeah.
you?
Well, some were half brothers, you know, from two mothers.
Oh, okay.
And that was on your dad's side of the family.
Hmm
On your father's side of the family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so
16.
not. But in your immediate family, how many brothers and sisters then were there?
Just Leonard and Jeanette, my sister.
Oh, don't know.
My sister was the youngest. She married Palmer Stelzer.
Oh, she
Glennon
loves-
Stelzer, you know him?
I know
Yeah.
Glennon.
His brother, Palmer,
Uh-huh.
that was my sister's husband.
Oh, is Palmer still alive?
No,
Oh, okay.
neither one of them are.
And where did they
So-
live? When,
Well, they lived around Defiance, but last they bought up at Centralia, Missouri, close
Sure.
to Jeff's.
oh, okay.
Well,
Yeah, it is close.
Columbia, close to Columbia,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Centralia.
Yeah, doesn't Glennon Stelzer owns a farm there still?
I think what Palmer farmed in Matson, they sold that to the
Right.
Struckoff boys.
Yeah, okay.
And Glennon, well, you know where his place is,
I do.
and it's mostly pasture ground, I think.
Yeah, Glennon is right there on Highway 94
He's in
and,
yeah,
and
94.
Jackson and Augusta, right on the corner, more or less.
His
Yeah.
wife is gone too.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Hmm
And we're going to interview Glennon soon.
So did they mostly farm, plant corn in the bottoms back then?
Yeah, corn and beans,
Corn and beans.
wheat.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
When the river didn't take it.
Yeah.
Sure. Did you grow up speaking any German?
Do what?
Did you speak German at all when you grew up?
I could understand it, and I could before I went to school, but I can't anymore. But I can understand it.
Did a lot of people speak it in Augusta still at that time?
I guess I did, you know, because when I went to school, I almost had to learn English, you know. But
Yeah.
then High German and Low German and whatever it is, my mom and dad both could talk that, you know.
Oh,
So
okay.
I could tell what they were talking about, you know.
Ah.
So I heard that they were still teaching German in the schools in Augusta.
They did when I went to school.
Okay.
Mhm.
Still.
Yeah. Up until 1940s is what I heard.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
So do you have any memories of your parents instructing you not to speak German in certain
No.
places? Okay. It's after, World War
We
One
were all
kind of.
German, you know.
Yeah. Okay.
That's true.
So what generation was it that came from Germany? Was that your grandparents or
What?
do you know?
Well, my dad lived to be 98, so you stop and think, then I don't know.
Okay.
You'd have to look at the tombstones in Augusta. I think that annually,
Yeah, right.
that's where some of them are buried, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned going to school. I think that grade school was built in the 30s. Were you one of the first?
Huh?
That the grade school was built, I think, in the 30s. Is that correct, or do you know?
The one that's in
Well, I
Augusta.
don't know. I guess.
Yeah.
Well, Lena was born in 1920, I guess. And he went to grade school there too, just like I did. It was a church school, you know.
So you went to the one up on Webster and up there, Mount.
It
Mount
isn't there anymore.
Right,
Where
but
the
that's
church is, there was school there too. So
Yeah.
parsonage, the preacher that was a teacher too.
I see.
So I had the same teacher all 8 years that I went to school there.
Oh,
No, no kidding.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah. Huh. Do you remember how many kids were in your class?
Well, like when I was confirmed, there was 8 of us,
Okay.
and that was a bigger class than it had been. It kind of varied, you know.
Yeah.
4 of them, sometimes only 1.
Now, this is next to the Lutheran Church, is where the.
Right.
Okay.
I'm going to back up ever so slightly. Where did you live before you came here to
On,
Cedar Crest?
Coulter Street over here off of 47 and then Suderman Road.
So you've been living here in Washington for a while.
Well, since 85, I think.
Shows what I know. I didn't know that.
I sold that place there after my dad died, and Leland was cutting the grass there all the time, and it was getting too much for me, a big 2-story house, you know, and I was slipping too.
This is the one that ended up burning down? Is that the place you.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the one that burned down.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
After I sold it, thank goodness. I mean, see, Lennon boy, Lennon bought it.
Lyndon Stelzer bought it. Yeah.
Oh, is that the one that's next to Glenn?
Yeah.
Oh.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Right.
Oh.
Okay. Let's I guess talk a little bit about. Well, you did tell us a little bit about your school days. Do you have any real good memories about the school?
Well, it was a one-room school, and I guess we learned more than what you think, you know. And the meanness that went in, nothing bad.
Yeah.
Kids are kids, you
Mischief.
know.
Yeah. Did you walk to school?
Hmm.
Okay.
Except if it was real cold or raining, or if the men were working down the bottoms, Augusta bottoms, we'd ride along on the wagon, you know.
Oh.
Anything so we didn't have to walk. Because it was 2 miles.
Yeah, yeah.
A mile on the country road and then a mile on the highway.
Yeah.
Walk on the highway, that wasn't too good either.
No, although there couldn't have been too much traffic then.
No, not that, like now, you know.
Yeah. And,
It wasn't even blacktop.
well, that's what I thought. It was still gravel. Yeah.
And do you have any memories of your good friends or anything in grade school?
Of what?
Good friends?
Well, yeah, we had quite a few friends,
Mm-hmm.
but they're gone too.
Oh. That's what you get for living so long. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
Now, before they built the bridge, the highway bridge in Washington, there used to be a ferry across the
That's
river.
right. And I can remember coming over here with the, well, we leave the car a lot of times and then walk up the hill from Drogies, you know, to Drogies there.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Virginia, was there ever a ferry down there at Berg's Crossing?
I don't think so.
Okay.
So the ferry that you remember, where was it exactly?
Which one, what?
The ferry that you remember, where was it? Is it where the bridge is now? Is that where the ferry was?
I think more like on Front Street below from Drogies, where Drogies is.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
I think that's where it was.
Uh-huh.
And then along the bottom road there someplace, I don't know exactly anymore where it was.
Yeah.
Because they built that bridge in 26, was it?
I think so. Yeah.
Because Leland kind of remembers some of that
Yeah.
when they were working on it, you know.
Glenn Stelzer told me that before that bridge was built, mostly people just didn't go to Washington. That was like a foreign country. Going to Washington or Herman, they just didn't do it, is what he
Well,
said.
no, because we'd go to St. Charles before we would come over here.
Right.
Oh,
But then
it was easier.
as times change, why,
Well, can you tell me anything about childhood games or toys that you had or anything that you did for fun?
we made our own. My Leland was good at making things, and so was Leonard, making tractors out of a spool with a piece of soap on the end with a rubber band through there, and hold it with a match, and then cut notches in it, you know, so it'd be like a tractor.
That's funny.
But I can't say that, I don't know that I played with whatever.
Yeah. All right. Do you have any real special memories about living in Augusta?
No,
No?
it's a hometown.
Just your hometown.
That's right.
Good place to live?
I guess it is. It's
Um,
not a good place to leave, you know. It's just one of them things. Like, I couldn't stay there with that big house
Right.
and too much acreage and too much house. So my nephew and his wife, they found this place on Coulter, and it's like a condo-like.
Oh,
There's another woman lives in one half of it, you know.
okay.
So,
So the house you used to own that burned down,
yes,
do you know what year that was built?
no, because like before my dad bought it, it was just 2 rooms and it was just log house.
Right.
And then they built on to the east side of it. This log house, log was on the
Yeah.
west side.
Yeah.
And that was all done before my dad bought it.
Yeah.
So there was 4 rooms downstairs, 2 upstairs, and an attic. So,
So that log house is somewhere from the 1800s.
I know it was a really old house.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame they lost it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you have jobs in Augusta? Did you work around Augusta?
not Augusta, because I just went to school, and when I graduated from the 8th grade, I knew of different girls that went to St. Louis and worked at Principia Christian Science College,
Okay.
and I said, that's where I want to go too. So I went there when I got out of the 8th grade.
Oh, no kidding.
So I guess I was 14, 15, whatever.
Yeah.
And I worked there, and it was close to Wellston, which isn't a very good place anymore.
Oh, Wellston.
And it was getting blacker all the time, and I finally left there.
Yeah.
And then I worked for my uncles in Defiance at the,
I apologize.
It's okay.
I'm looking for 2 nurses.
You're part of our interview now. Okay.
No, then Dennis is, you know Dennis, don't you? Dennis Nadler. He had
Yeah, in Defiance.
Yeah, see, he
Sure,
had the garage. He
Yeah,
bought it.
exactly.
Of course,
Wow.
the Tippers owned that garage,
Uh-huh.
and they were in the sold down their tractors. And his mother was a bookkeeper there. So Uncle Waldo came and asked me whether I could do that because she was getting arthritis in her hand.
Right.
So I learned to do the bookwork there
Very
for
good.
a couple of employees, 2 or 3. And I don't know how I learned that, but I didn't have no high school education. I ordered the parts for the tractors and then even sent in the Social Security and the withholding tax and all
Okay.
that.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Wow.
But I did that without,
That's a big job.
yeah. See, and then the farming business was getting worse, and the tractor business wasn't very good anymore either. So from there, I went to Emmaus.
Oh, okay.
Emmaus at Marthasville,
Yeah, Highway OD there.
and I helped cook there. And I worked there, I guess, 12, 15 years, and then I retired.
Okay.
So I only worked those 3 places.
Alrighty. Well, 3 good ones. So since you mentioned Dennis Nadler, now was he your uncle or what's his relation?
He's my cousin.
Your cousin.
Our
Oh, sure,
mothers
sure.
were sisters and our fathers were brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah.
We're
grasp
really
that quickly,
cousins.
but- Okay, your cousins. Alrighty. Can I ask you about? There's a Nadler has a Centennial Farm on 94. I think his name is Roy Nadler or.
What?
Roy, is there a Roy Nadler on Highway 94? It has a Centennial Farm. Just outs-
Leroy.
Leroy, that's it. Leroy.
That's Harry Nadler's boy.
Okay.
That was Harry Nadler, and Harry Nadler's father was my dad's brother too, Henry.
Okay, so they're close,
Henry Nadler.
close relative.
Okay.
All the brothers. you
And,
know.
and I believe Leroy has moved back out here and lives again.
Well, see,
at
he
that
was
farm.
an only child, so he fell heir to that place.
I see. Well, he was living in St. Louis, but I believe he's back. I believe he's
Yeah,
living
I
out
think
there.
he's living there.
Yeah, we'll have to interview him too.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Huh.
Well, can you tell us anything about community gatherings in Augusta, like picnics or parades or festivals?
Well, when Augusta celebrated their, what was it, their 200th
Yeah.
anniversary,
Yeah,
of course, then we got asked to play there,
sure.
but Leonard was in the service then, so it was Lena and my dad and I, we did. We were,
That was probably the 100th anniversary. I'm gonna-
they had a pageant and we played in that, and
Okay.
I don't know, it didn't.
Yeah.
It
Well-
was a lot of work.
And there,
Yeah.
well, in general, were there a lot of, when you were a child, were there a lot of picnics or festivals or?
Well, yeah, the Legion have a picnic, our churches have a picnic and a parade for the kids, but that all, they don't do that anymore.
No.
I don't think the Legion has a picnic anymore, do they? Or a parade?
They do have a picnic.
Yeah.
Well, they
Yeah.
still make their wonderful pork steaks.
Well,
Every year.
that's just every couple, see, because that all fell by the wayside too. Jerome ain't there anymore, and
Mm.
they
Oh,
don't
yeah,
have
Jerry
it. There
did.
was always a 4th Sunday, I think, when they had pork steaks and chicken, you know,
Okay.
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
German potato salad,
Yeah.
you know.
They only do that about once or maybe twice a year now.
Oh.
Yeah, see, because it's a different organization, the way I understand.
Mm.
So
Well-
I never was included in that because I wasn't in town.
Well, didn't the Nadlers play a lot of times on when they would have those Sunday dinners?
No,
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 I thought they did.
I don't,
Okay.
I don't think we did.
How about? Don't you have some nieces or grandchildren that also played music? I thought there were. I thought there
Well-
was, like Elaine. Didn't Elaine maybe have a daughter that?
Rosalie Nadler, that she married a Nadler, but there was no Nadler. That was a different Nadler family.
Oh, okay.
And but her mother was a Tipker, and she married an Ostov. So and her mother did, but now Rosalie married an Nadler, so it kind of falls back again to that.
You know, you made me realize that we don't have any Ostovs on our list of people to interview. We'll have to fix that. We get an Ostov somewhere.
Was,
Just one?
Oh, I don't know. Should we do two?
was there a doctor's office in Augusta when you were
I
growing up?
don't think. Yeah, there was.
There was?
There was a Dr. Clay,
Uh-huh.
and he had that great big house next to the store building,
Okay.
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, the big
okay.
brick one. Right?
The big
Yeah.
brick. Yeah.
The
I think
big
that's
brick
what-
house next to
No.
the store?
No.
Yeah, it's a great big brick house. I don't know what it looks like now,
Oh, okay.
It looks about the same.
but it's next to this big store building
Okay.
downtown.
Right. Sure.
Yeah.
Well, now I've been told too. See, I own where Virginia Hought and Erna Hefferkamp lived, and I'm told Glenn Totebush told me that a doctor lived there too, and that's why there was a barn on the property to house
Oh
the
yeah,
horses,
let me
stable
see
the
now,
horses.
up on the hill there from your house. There's a great big two-story white house.
Yes.
That was,
Yeah.
what is his name now? I can't think of it now.
I don't know who was
But
there
it-
before.
I don't know, he
I don't know
was
the
kind
history
of
of
a
that
pill pusher or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beyond me.
So was there anyone in town that did made clothes?
The what?
They would make clothes for you, like a
I don't think so.
seamstress or a
Maybe individuals,
yeah.
not that I know of.
'Cause I was
because
told
my
that-
mom did it herself too.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think a lot of women did, but it was pretty much a self-contained town. You didn't need to go anywhere to buy anything. There was someone that provided all the services in Augusta.
What?
There was two grocery stores.
Yeah. 2 grocery stores, quite a while,
Yeah.
And a garage,
Garage.
and a garage.
Chevrolet sales.
And then see, one of the Tipker boys had the garage next to the feed store at one time.
Right. I know what you mean.
But then, I don't know, is there anything in there?
It just sold again. I don't know what.
Yeah. The building's empty right
Yeah,
now.
it's empty.
Is it?
Mhm.
Yeah.
See, I don't come through Augusta,
No.
I
Right.
don't know.
Yeah.
So I guess you shopped at those 2 grocery stores.
Yeah, that hasn't been for some time.
Yeah, a long time.
Arthur Havercam had that one there.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess he was the last one, probably.
To have one there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then of course they had the other grocery store where eventually Fuhr owned it, and then Glenn Frank.
Yeah, they
eventually.
had mostly everything in there, like an antique store or something, wasn't it?
Eventually.
Oh,
Yeah.
eventually, yeah, it became that. Yeah.
But it was kind of a hardware store and a grocery store at one
Yeah.
time, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And see, and that's what Arthur Havercam's place was too. That
Oh.
was the antique store there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it goes to
Still is.
antiques and to
Uh-huh.
bed and breakfast, not?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. Now, was that a hotel upstairs at one time?
The where?
The Uptown grocery store was. Could you rent a
I
room?
guess that's what they called it uptown.
Could you rent a room upstairs?
There was people living there,
Okay.
different times.
It was the first time I saw that building. It had a big center hall upstairs with rooms that came off the center hall,
Well, that could be. I don't know.
as if it were an overnight, like a small hotel, or boarding house.
Virginia, do you remember at Sharp Corners, the tavern there? Like, I think Grumke owned it.
Yeah, but I didn't go in a tavern.
Really?
And my dad didn't either. He wasn't a drinker,
Yeah,
and he didn't smoke.
Oh,
I
okay.
guess that's why he lived so long.
probably. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you remember them using the ice house in town?
That was before my time, too.
Oh, it was? Okay. So you don't ever remember there being ice
There
stored
was
in
an
there?
ice house in Augusta.
Yeah?
Well, let me see. That was it there behind Rupee Malker's tavern, that little white building.
Yeah.
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 Mm-hmm.
It's all cork
I
lined
think
on the
that-
inside.
Now, when you say that, I think I remember hearing that.
Yeah. And supposedly they cut the ice out of the river in the wintertime and
That could be.
filled that building up.
They'd have to wait a long time now to get some ice in
Yeah,
there.
wouldn't
wouldn't
they? Yeah.
For church. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any stories that you could tell about people helping each other in Augusta and coming together to help anyone with problems or?
Well, that's what the community was. They helped each other. That's how my dad got along, because his sister helped him, and then Dennis's dad was in the same shape. His parents were gone too, and then there was John Nadler, another brother. He took him in, and where my dad was his sister. But John Nadler was Ottoman Nadler's dad. The big house on the
Ottoman was the
hill
big
that
house,
had the
yeah.
Christmas trees in the front there.
I know where you mean. Yeah, it doesn't look like that anymore. They totally
No,
changed it.
there's a different house there
Yeah,
now.
I think they bulldoze the other one to build the new.
I
Something.
don't know.
It's
I
totally
can't
different place.
imagine that it was in that bad a shape, but then,
It was a grand old house.
yeah.
I was a little shocked what they did to it. Yeah.
Where was that at exactly?
When you're going towards Defiance, before you start climbing up the hill, there was a grand, big white house up on the
Okay.
bluff, shall we say? Not bluff.
Right
but
after
hill.
you pass Matson,
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I know
and then
that.
before you
Upper
cross,
Nadler's place. Yeah.
before you
Okay.
cross the railroad track, and then it's,
Didn't it burn down?
No.
no, they tore it down.
Oh.
Because when she had sail there, she had a brown mason jar with a glass lid. That's as good as I can picture it. And that brought $2,000 1 quart jar.
Yeah.
I forget her name, but I met her. I did a little work for her one time. Something in her
That
kitchen.
could
She needed
be.
something fixed, so I did it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's a whole community almost going back up there, like Dietrich's. Another Maribel Dietrich lived back up that road too, and her sister lived there, or no, that's her brother. Are you familiar with that whole gang going up behind that, behind Ottmer?
Oh,
No? Oh well, it's not
I
important.
don't know.
How about, you said you were born in Augusta. Do you have any stories about midwives or anything, helping people when a child was born?
Well, when my sister was born, there was a midwife that came and helped my mom. And her name was Miss Parks.
Parks.
Ah.
P-A-R-K-S.
Granny Park's house.
Grandma Parks' house? Is
Yeah,
that the same
Grandma
person?
Parks' house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then her son, he was a depot agent. He worked for the Katy down on
Oh yeah.
by the railroad track,
Yeah.
Okay, and
Just
just to,
Bob Parks.
just to clarify for anyone that listens to this interview, Grandma Parks' house is where there's a B&B there now, and it's a real nice place. It's Hofer's own it. It's Apple something or other. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Applegate.
Applegate Inn.
And
Oh, I
yeah,
have
but
no
that's where
idea.
Grandma Parks was.
It's
yeah.
been added on to.
Matter of fact, Dave owned that.
I owned
property
that
for
for
a while.
about
Oh.
10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought I was going to live in it. And
I did live in it
it was kind of a wreck
for a
when
few months.
Did you?
I think they call it squatting, but yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. Do you have anything you want to tell us about veterans in your family, like
Veterans?
yeah, like World War II or?
Well, no. If Leonard was in the service, and Leland was too. But Leland, he got sick. He got, what did he have? Anyway, he didn't get very far, but Leonard was overseas in Germany and France, but he didn't see any shooting, no
Okay.
wartime.
I see.
It was in the 50s,
No?
and he was gone.
Okay.
So he was gone 2 years.
No. Were there passenger trains that came through Augusta? Could you get
Yeah,
on a passenger train?
Well, yeah, that Katie.
Right.
Mhm.
So you could get on the train and ride into St. Louis on a train?
Mhm.
Is that okay? Yeah. Do you remember what year they stopped taking passengers?
No, I don't remember when
Okay.
they took that.
Yeah.
They took the tracks up.
Yeah.
Virginia, we briefly touched on music, and I should say that Leland always had a band, and I believe Leonard played out in public too, and you played with them too?
Mhm.
Piano?
by guitar.
Guitar? Okay, not piano, just guitar.
No.
Okay. And did you sing?
Huh?
Did you sing?
In the bathroom.
You didn't sing at
We
public?
could sing, but we didn't do that much.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you,
Leland's wife liked to sing.
oh, okay.
Were you self-taught on guitar? Did you have a teacher? Or?
No. None of us took any lessons.
Yeah.
Okay.
Leland learned to play when he was about 6 years old, and he had scarlet fever. So the doctor said he had to stay flat on his back. Well, to keep a 6-year-old boy flat on his back, and he kind of, I guess, because my dad, he could play the fiddle or some, you know.
Yeah.
So my dad said, can he play the fiddle? And well, as long as he kept laying on bed, you know. So that's how my dad taught Leland to play.
Yeah.
You put so many fingers on this string, and that's so learn him to play, taught him to play that. And then, so then my dad and him, they'd play for house dances, just a little band, you know. They didn't have to have a sound system and all this kind of stuff, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
So then, in the meantime, then Dennis's sister, she was taking guitar lessons. And I got the fever then, and I learned how to know where the C and the F and the G was. And then Leland said, well, if you can get that, then you can play with me, you know. So he'd pick a song that was easy to play, and then he'd sit next to me, and if I didn't change the chord, he'd kick me in the shins, you know.
Sounds
So
like
that's
something
how I
I'd do.
learned. That's my lessons.
Yeah.
So I had to learn in a hurry.
Did you play with Leonard too?
Oh yeah, we
Okay.
played together a lot.
All righty.
Well, because then by that time Leland's family was growing up, and they didn't play very much, and so that's how we got started then.
Oh.
And Leonard didn't show much interest, you know, but he learned to play the fiddle, I'd say in a couple months. And then we played for a dance out at Shooting Grounds, close to Wright City.
Don't know it.
Like Leonard said, he knew he played the same song over a couple times, but nobody knew the difference, you know.
Yeah.
Did Leland's daughter play too? Like Elaine, did she play music?
Oh, yeah, she could play too.
Yeah, okay,
She
I thought
played
so.
the piano.
Do you know if any of your ancestors would have fought in the Civil War?
I don't think so.
No. Okay.
I don't think so.
Alrighty. Well, these next questions are maybe a little philosophical. What would you describe as your favorite times in Augusta?
Well, it's kind of hard to pick. It was nothing bad ever.
Mm-hmm.
It was a pretty good town.
Yeah.
You still live there?
Well, I live up on Duke Road.
Oh, you
Well, I'm
live
close.
up there on the hill now.
I'm up on the hill. Where you were born up that way.
Yeah. Well, Duke Road, let me see. Yeah. Well, see, I lived right where it turns to Sluisburg and also to the Terry Road.
Yeah.
And, well, the Duke Road too, not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Duke's back there. Yeah.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
And that's where our house was.
Gotcha.
And do you know the Adrians up there?
No.
Let me see. But anyway, Melissa and I can't think of what his first name is, but Adrian is the last name.
Oh, no.
And they live right when it goes in the woods, you might say, on that. And they've got 6 boys. She was married before and had 3, and he had married 3. So they got 6 boys. But some of them one of them is married and gone, and the other one in some kind of order of service. So they all grew up finally, you know.
Mm.
I can't think of his name now. But don't make any difference.
Well, you know, I just remembered something too. Where you were born, if you go downhill a little bit towards Augusta, a little ways on your left, there was a quarry tucked back in there. It's a small, very small quarry. Do you remember anything about that quarry?
About that what?
Quarry, where they quarried stone, just down the hill from
It's
you a little
down the
ways.
hill. Yeah,
Slightly.
I think too that my
Uh-huh.
dad got some rocks out of there already,
Okay.
I think.
Uh-huh.
But that was years ago.
But there were other quarries too, right? Well, just outside of Augusta, east of Augusta, there was a quarry down by the bottoms, as I recall.
Well, see, otherwise the only thing I can think about is Klondike.
Well, that's a big quarry.
Yeah, it ain't anymore either. And there's a lot of men earned their bread and butter there.
That's right.
A lot of men.
But none of your family ever worked there?
No.
Okay.
Years ago, one of my brothers, my dad's brothers lived there, and then he had too much sand, and it was a horrible death, you know,
Yeah,
because they get sand in their
Silicosis
lungs.
or whatever you call it, yeah. Yeah,
No, my dad never did work there.
that's good. Well, you know, Virginia, new people keep coming to Augusta, and generally with great enthusiasm. And, you know, a lot of people love this town. Like, you know, I've been around since '76, and Paul, you know, these guys obviously love it and they're hanging around. Is there anything you'd want to tell new people that who are moving into the Augusta territory?
No. I don't think. It comes to my mind now, they built a big building, and they had the trains, little trains they called it.
Oh, yeah.
It's in the back of Rupi Malmkrutz there.
Sure.
It is,
Mhm.
yeah.
And it's standing empty, ain't it?
It's empty.
is.
You're right.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine that, because all it was little trains, wasn't it?
That's all
Yeah.
it was, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we thought, you know, why is he doing this?
That's what I would think so too.
You know what though? After he left there, he got a job out at, I believe it was the Grand Canyon National Park, one of the national parks, but I'm pretty sure it's Grand Canyon, where he operates little trains for them, for the government
Excellent.
service. Yeah,
Yeah.
mark service.
Oh my.
Well, do you have anything at all you'd like to tell us, share with us, or?
No. I've been thinking too, isn't the session about over?
It's just
I
about
don't
over.
like that thing looking at me.
I hear you.
Did you have any swimming holes around Augusta when you were young? Like favorite
I
place?
never did learn to swim.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
So,
But I never had the chance.
all in all, was this fun or was it just stressful?
Okay.
Was this stressful or fun?
It was all right.
Okay. That's all we can ask for.
I'm glad I don't have to look at that.
Well, we could fix it so you can look at it someday.
No, that's all right.
Oh, and is this thing still on,
I'll
Paul?
turn it off.
Well, I thought I'd mention to any potential listener to this thing, of course, I guess you'd know it by then. But then, anyway, theoretically, we would like to have this on YouTube. And, of course, the museum in Augusta would like to have possession of all this stuff, too. Anyway, we hope that a lot of people get to see you and hear you and, you know, just learn more about Augusta in that way. So we really thank you for doing this. And
Future historians will treasure it.
Hmm?
Future historians
Yeah.
will treasure it.
I've heard of that, but I don't put me on there.
Okay. Anyway, I thank you so much for doing this.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks, Virginia.